Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your man, Mike P. Hey, now you're getting it. Art is inherently open to interpretation, allowing each viewer to bring their own perspectives, emotions, and thoughts to the piece. This subjective nature of art means that a single piece of work can spark a multitude of responses and meanings. Rap music and hip-hop in general is filled to the brim with double entendres, word plays, and bars that a lot of people in the hip-hop world try their best to make sense of. Sometimes you can come up with an idea that kind of sounds like what the artist is trying to convey. As a professional battle rapper and writer, there are sometimes many lines that all it takes is just someone of a high caliber to break it down for people because the bars are right there. It's just hard for the casual fan to make sense of it. Yo, the gun bacon, you better break fast or your egg get cracked. See, like bacon, breakfast, egg crack, like, you know, he's talking about 9 in the morning. But sometimes you get an incredibly deep artist that requires an extremely diligent mind to uncover an absolute truth that nobody saw before them. What's the Dirt 616 in LA breakdown is nothing short of incredible. And the most mind-bending portion of that video is when he breaks down that the first 8 bars of 616 in LA is actually from Drake's perspective. An idea that nobody, including myself, thought twice to even think of. But when I tell you that there is definitive evidence brought to the table for every single line, I mean it. Nothing more to say here other than just look at the full video for yourself. I'll have that link to What's the Dirt's channel and that video in my description. This is the first like 10 minutes of his video where Dirt uncovers something that I honestly would challenge anybody in the world to argue. Unless Kendrick Lamar himself denies it, there is simply no way this is not true. Guys, if you like the video, as always, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like, leave a comment and let me know what you guys think. Honestly, in my head, I would say that I can't believe that no one's ever thought of this, but knowing how much work and effort came into this and all of the receipts that What's the Dirt pulled out shows me that there is no way that anybody could have possibly thought about it unless you did the work. By the way, I hope you guys enjoy July 4th tomorrow, and July 5th, Friday at 2 p.m. I will be starting my very first 24-hour stream. It's going to be quite a doozy. Twitch.tv/IamMikeP_. And yeah, enjoy the video, and I will see you on Friday. Peace out. Let's rock out. And you said 1.25 speed is decent to do this, right? It won't sound a little ridiculous.
Unlike Drake, Kendrick did not get buried by the temptations of money, power, pussy, and fame. Both artists took an entirely different route, and the Buried Alive interlude is important because it acts as a full circle moment. By Kendrick using the date June 16th in the title, Drake knows exactly what he's referring to, and bringing this up 13 years later is extremely powerful. Kendrick proved to have the strength to resist the temptations that Drake warned him about, and Drake himself was weak and couldn't do the same. Now, I gotta say, Drake flips this narrative really well on—
Which, once again, like, goes to prove What's the Dirt's point even more. If the title is 616, and that's the conversation that they had, and that's how the verse starts with all of those material things that Kendrick steered away from, it brings that point even, it makes that even more of a fact with it being from Drake's perspective.
The instrumental samples Al Green's song What a Wonderful Thing Love Is, and Drake's Uncle Teeny Hodges is credited as playing guitar on that record. However, what makes it even more impressive is the fact that Kendrick sampled Teddy Pendergrass on Euphoria, and now he's sampling Al Green, and they both had an album together called Back to Back Hits, feeding even more into Kendrick's claims that he was going back to back on Drake. And people say that Kendrick fans are reaching all the time.
Like, listen, like I was talking about the technicalities of a rapper. Like, I know a lot about rap, and I consider myself like a really good hip hop artist, but I know that there are rappers that are on completely different wavelengths that I am. So like, when you hear shit like that and you say in the back of your head, like, damn, that's wild, like, that's pretty insane how that's all tied together, is that like, it's very possible. It's very fucking possible. But the back-to-back, like, oh my God, just wild, like, Easter eggs all throughout it.
But this is clearly thought out. I mean, these
clearly.
records were very, very well planned.
Clearly.
With all that said, we can now finally get into the lyrics of the song.
This is when What's the Dirt fucking cooks, bro.
However, something I do feel fairly confident about is that if you really listen to the beat closely, Kendrick chooses to chop up the Al Green sample and loops it so that it sounds like he's saying, "Boy Wonder." Now, you gotta remember, this track is in response to the Push Ups record, where Drake sampled the drop from Who Kid. And as we know now, this drop turned out to have a hidden message that flew over all of our heads, as Drake will later announce that Kendrick's child might not be his.
Right.
I heard that one of them little kids might be day free.
And for that reason, I feel like it's on this track where Kendrick is using one of Drake's close producers to also send some sort of message. By using this little sample, I feel like Kendrick is trying to get inside Drake's head to cast doubt on who the mole could be in his camp. Drake commonly refers to himself as the boy, and in this case, I think Kendrick is asking Drake to think. Kendrick got the boy one.
So crazy. It honestly is, and it's believable because, listen, Drake did the same thing. I didn't think of Who Kid. I didn't think of that as a bar. But then when you realize that Who Kid had nothing to do with that song, and then he talks about Dave Free and Whitney and that possibly not being Kendrick's child, how is that not Kendrick's response? How is that not Kendrick playing the exact game that Drake is playing and just one-upping him? That's why I was telling What's the Dirt today. I was like, I don't even understand how your fucking mind works, where you even begin to try to dig into things like that and try to understand and break things down like that. It honestly boggles my mind. This went completely over my head.
Off-white Sunseeker had the marina. Fuck a phantom, I like to buy yachts when I get the fever.
So right away here, any seasoned Drake fan will tell you that when it comes to timestamp records, Kendrick is clearly matching Drake's subject matter stylistically.
Is there more to life than going on trips to Dubai? Yachts on the 4th of July, G5 soaring the skies. I roll big body, wild body, Calabasas, road wander, sun shining, wax tires.
Bro, it's like, this brings like the hairs on my arms stand up because it's all true. There's no way that What's the Dirt didn't fucking nail this, bro. Like, nailed it, dude.
Stylistically.
Is there more to life than going on trips to Dubai? Yachts on the 4th of July, G5 soaring the skies. I roll big body, wild body, Calabasas, road winder, sun shining, wax tires.
But here's the thing, I don't think Kendrick's rapping from his own perspective here at all. I think he's rapping as if he were Drake. 13 years ago, Kendrick ended off the Buried Alive verse speaking in the perspective of Drake, and I feel he's now circling back to do that again.
Listen to
Off-white
this.
Sunseeker had the marina. Fuck a phantom, I like to buy yachts when I get the fever.
So, rapping in the perspective of Drake, he says Off-White Sunseeker. Now, this would be in reference to one of Drake's close friends, Virgil, who not only had the designer brand Off-White, but also, during a 2022 Louis Vuitton fashion show, the background music for that show was an album by Tyler, the Creator, called Sunseeker. And this was Virgil's baby. This was his show. He directed it, and rest in peace to Virgil. Secondly, a Sunseeker at the marina is in reference to a company called Sunseeker, which is a builder of luxury yachts. But in the next line, things only get deeper. In the second line, Kendrick, from the perspective of Drake, claims that he's tired of buying Phantoms and now likes to buy yachts when he gets the fever. First and foremost, you got to think about this. Kendrick does not rap about flaunting a lavish lifestyle.
Yep, ever.
He doesn't own a yacht.
Ever.
He's not one for buying yachts.
Ever.
This is just so far outside of the subject matter in his music
Yep.
and what he represents. And that is because he is rapping as if he were Drake. I don't believe that this first chunk of the verse is from Kendrick's perspective at all.
Nope.
A Phantom is a model of car from Rolls-Royce that Drake not only owns multiple variations of, but he's mentioned the Phantom in at least 10 different tracks over the years, maybe even more.
Now I'm in the Rolls with illuminated angel. All my Rolls Royces got a different body facts. Bought a white ghost, now shit is getting spooky. Leg hanging out the fan on.
However, Kendrick is painting it as if the Phantom is no longer scratching the itch for Drake. He needs to go bigger, which is exactly what he did when he rented the Ocean Corel yacht in 2022.
No one will say for sure how much Coral Ocean is worth, but I can tell you it's well north of $100 million.
When Drake rented this yacht, he was going all over the place. Like, he was traveling everywhere. Now, here's where things take a turn and get a lot darker. Following up on his previous line about yachts, he claims that he likes to buy yachts when he gets the fever, and the Fever is another builder of luxury yachts.
Fucking
This is
nasty.
where it goes left. The Sunseeker has another line of yachts called the Predator, and as we know, Drake has a song called Teenage Fever. Now, where it gets crazy is when we look at Drake's relationship with Millie Bobby Brown. Here she is with Drake on a yacht at the young age of 13. This photo was taken in 2017, shortly after his More Life album dropped, which had the track Teenage Fever, and coincidentally enough, the media was categorizing the More Life album as yacht rap. Now, to put the cherry on top, where was this picture taken? At a marina. Think about it. Sunseeker has a yacht called the Predator. Drake's More Life album was being called Yacht Rap. It had a track called Teenage Fever. He's with a 13-year-old girl on a yacht, and in this picture, they're at a marina. This is not a coincidence at all.
Dude.
It's not. And Kendrick drops plenty of little clues here just in how he pronounces certain words. And if you pay attention to how he says, I like to buy yachts, he's actually making a reference to Dubai yachts.
Fuck a phantom, I like to buy yachts when I get the fever. Is there more to life than going on trips to Dubai? Yachts on the 4th of July.
And back in 2015, Drake was very happy to announce that he was on a yacht in Dubai. And if you're familiar with Kendrick's catalog, you'll know that he does shit like this a lot in his writing.
Wine cooler spill on my white t-shirt, the sightseer.
So again, Kendrick is...
This right here. If you're still on the fence as far as this being these first 4 to 8 bars rapping from Drake's perspective, this right here takes the fucking cake, dude.
Like this.
Takes the fucking dirt, bro.
A lot in his writing.
Wine cooler spill on my white t-shirt, the sightseer.
So again, Kendrick is rapping as if he were Drake. Not only does Kendrick hardly ever drink, but when he does drink, it's exclusively wine.
Yeah, I drink a little bit.
What's your preferred beverage?
Just wine. Like
What about,
Jesus.
have you ever?
Now, there is a huge difference in wine and wine coolers. Most men do not drink wine coolers. I'm talking about fruity drinks with soda and tons of sugar. Kendrick uses little keywords like this to let the listener know that this is not his life we're talking about. Kendrick's not drinking wine coolers, guys. Drake is the guy that loves wine coolers. That's pretty much all he drinks. And what's even more interesting is how wine coolers became his beverage of choice in the first place.
Were you drinking white wine spritzer?
I was. That's my drink of choice. It's basically my mother had a friend who I was always sort of like infatuated with. We used to go to her house and be poolside, and she used to like fill up a white wine spritzer, and she would like casually slide it and leave it there, and then she'd just show up with another one, and I always felt like she was trying to send me a message. So I kept that a consistent theme.
Of course you were trying to say that's completely inappropriate. How old were you?
I don't know, like 15. But
So I've kept that a consistent theme.
And take a good guess at who else loves wine coolers. Teenage girls, right? And coincidentally enough, with respect to this line, a 17-year-old Madison Beer attended Drake's Memorial Day party in
This
2016,
right here, bro.
and she shared the following story.
Look at
I
this.
met him actually like 2 years ago at his Memorial Day party. Funniest thing about Drake is he drinks wine spritzers. Like, that's all he drinks. I was like, can we go to the bathroom in your room? I was like, I just really don't want to wait on this line. And he was like, yeah, of course. And this girl had like a vodka cranberry or something in her hand, and she tripped and fell and spilled all over Drake, like all over his like white sweatsuit.
At this point in time, Madison had just...
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you actually kidding me, dude? Are you actually kidding me, bro?
That's all he drinks. I was like, can we go to the bathroom in your room? I was like, I just really don't want to wait on this line. And he was like, yeah, of course. And this girl had like a vodka cranberry or something in her hand, and she tripped and fell and spilled all over Drake, like all over his like white sweatsuit.
White wine cooler spill on my white t-shirt.
At this point in time, Madison had just turned 17 2 months prior, and this only acts as...
Listen, bro, Kendrick is the GOAT. But without What's the Dirt, dog, like, bro...
further proof that Drake seems to allow much younger girls at his parties. Madison claims that Drake loves wine coolers, and then states that someone spilt the drink all over his white outfit. Kendrick seems to have been gathering this information about Drake for a very long time, and on this track, I feel like he's sending subtle reminders that most of us wouldn't catch.
Fun fact though, his house that he has a bathtub that is literally the size of this room. And it's gigantic and so dope. I was like sitting and I was like, can I just lay here and like chill?
I even found some footage of this exact Drake Memorial Day party where you can tell that the women in attendance, to me, don't really look like grown women. No. I mean, come on, guys. Like, I'm a fair man, but like, I'm not even assuming here. Like, these are clearly teenagers, right?
Bro, who killed JFK, Dirt? Who killed JFK?
And when he talks about wine coolers, he's talking about shit like this. Following up on the previous line, Kendrick writes for Drake by calling himself a sightseer, which is exactly what Drake was doing in 2022 when he rented that $50 million yacht. Here he is in St. Bart's at a New Year's Eve yacht party, and what we can easily conclude about this party is that teenage girls were definitely in attendance because there's clear evidence of this happening.
I got back from St. Bart's on Monday. Basically, it was an after party that we got invited to. It was on the Vava. So many cool people there. We talked with Drake for a little bit.
This girl was born on February 5th, 2004, which would mean she was only 17 years old during this yacht party.
I was just in St. Bart's with Drake and that 150 supermodels in it.
And I think that Kendrick
Dr. Drake respect
knows something about these parties. I do.
Trifecta, money, morals, and culture. That's my leisure.
In the second line, Kendrick says trifecta, money, morals, and culture, that's my leisure. And again, this has nothing to do with Kendrick as he continues to rap as Drake here. First off, the definition of a trifecta pertains to gambling on horses, where to win, you need to guess the 3 winning horses in order. That means that in the case of this line, money would come first, morals would come second, and culture will be last. This is how we can easily rule Kendrick's own perspective out, as money is definitely not his first priority. Again, it's little things like this where it's clear to me that he's not rapping from his own perspective here.
Really, money really don't make me, I'm learning that now. You know, that's not really my peace of mind, having money.
In the case of the line as it pertains to Drake, money is seemingly at the forefront of everything that he does. He's willing to put aside morals and culture to get it. This explains why morals and culture come in second and third place within the trifecta. At the end of the day, those 2 things will never really matter for Drake, as money will always dictate his every move regardless. So I mean, when we look at a trifecta by definition, like what it means, the line makes literally no sense pertaining to Kendrick.
My visa, passport tatted, I show up in a visa.
Once again, I'm not sure how this would ever pertain to Kendrick, as he never raps about shit like this, and there's no documented proof that he has ever been to Ibiza. Not only that, Ibiza is known as the party capital of Europe, which doesn't really seem to be a place that fits into his lifestyle. When we look at how Kendrick structured and set up this first verse, it only makes sense from Drake's perspective, as he was in Ibiza on that exact same yacht. And Drake has referenced Ibiza in his music many, many times.
Grab my Lisa, bring it to Ibiza. I'm killing Ibiza, so what? She took dick in Ibiza. We went to Ibiza.
And this whole infatuation with
Ibiza,
crazy,
bro.
For Drake,
this is one of the best like breakdowns of anything like hip hop related that I've ever seen, because of how much shit gets uncovered here. Like, it's just wild. Man.
He never talked about it before in his music. It's only these recent years where he's been bringing it up a lot. It's almost like Ibiza has become Drake's new favorite hub. And if you listen to how Kendrick enunciates this line, that's exactly what he says.
That's your hub in Ibiza, your hub in Ibiza.
And I don't know why Drake loves Ibiza so much, but maybe Kendrick does. And again, in very recent times, Drake referenced a tatted passport in his music.
My visa, passport tatted. I tatted your passport up.
So this all ties and flows perfectly together in reference to Drake and how he lives his life. And given the fact that Kendrick rapped from Drake's perspective on Buried Alive, and this track is called 616 in LA, which was a date that they first met and the concept of that record, Kendrick is doing the same here. And the concept of the Buried Alive track is just as important for Family Matters, which we are doing next. Kendrick continues to replicate the subject matter that Drake showcases on these timestamp records. If you heard Drake say a line like this straight from his mouth, you wouldn't second guess it, as it fits perfectly into the style of his pen.
Eating like I'm seated at Swiss Soto and Yoso's. Catering is from Giorgio Bardi, Robin's favorite.
Yeah, he's always talking like pasta and linguine up at Splanglini's. Like, he's always doing that.
He nailed.
Always nailing like food. Scallops and gualops at fucking gallerias.
It is bang on how Drake raps on these tracks. Bang on. It's just the way he enunciates shit. It's very cryptic. Like, he doesn't even say pizza.
Man.
He says pizza.
Just to book me some pizza.
And book me some pizza is weird too. Like, there's shit in here that Drake is only gonna get. And coming off the last line, Kendrick dishes out a triple entendre. Firstly, he refers to Raphael Urbino, a famous Italian artist who is ironically one of the big 3 artists that is responsible for curating a style of European art called Mannerism. Secondly, Kendrick is talking about Raphael the Angel, which was one of the 3 angels that was referenced earlier, and Raphael is known for being a protector and healer. Lastly, Kendrick pulls qualities from both Raphaels by 1, providing people with genuine art, in this case music, and 2, his music acts as therapy for a lot of people and helps to heal them. And of course, last but not least, and this one went over everyone's heads, Raphael the Ninja Turtle. I'm fucking with you guys. I made that one up. He's just my favorite turtle, so I took the opportunity to get him in there.
I know they aren't. This video does not have reaches at all, to be honest. There's maybe like a couple, and I would point to the shooting star one. I think that's just like a regular bar. I don't think it was that deep, but this video is fucking spot on. Dude, yeah, I mean, what's the dirt is 100% when it comes to breaking down like bars and songs and really getting to the bottom of shit. The man is goated, like 100%. And that beginning, like the breaking down of it being from Drake's perspective is so spot on. I can't not agree with it. It is so obvious now to me, because of What's the Dirt, that it is from Drake's perspective, that I will never look at that song the same. And I have so much more respect for that track. I mean, Jesus Lord, dude. Insane stuff.